All right, Cobra Kai. Let's talk about it. First of all, we're going to start by doing a non-spoiler talk. Did you like it?
I loved it.
I loved it too. So now we're going to get into spoilers.
Yeah.
Really, if you want to talk about a show, whether you liked it or didn't like it, it has to have spoilers, right? All these people are like, oh, here's my spoiler-free review. The moment you start talking about the characters and this, that, and the other, you're inherently just talking about spoilers.
I mean, no major spoilers. I'm not going to tell them what happens in the very final scene.
Okay, we'll leave that out.
Full disclosure, we're both products of the 1980s, and we grew up watching Karate Kid 1, 2, and 3, and we loved them all.
Yep.
And therefore, we are biased, and it is what it is. I can't watch this without that bias. I watched it, and I freaking loved it. I loved every episode of it.
I did too.
The thing that blew me away the most was Johnny Lawrence's character. I didn't expect... I haven't seen this guy in anything else in my entire life.
Ever.
If he's been acting for the last 35 years, it's been below my radar.
I'm going to click on it real quick. What's he been in? He was in Hot Tub Time Machine? I don't even remember that. Rodney Dangerfield.
I don't remember...
See, he's done some TV stuff. How I Met Your Mother, Psych, Robot Chicken.
Yeah.
I mean, those are just the normal rounds that everybody makes. It's safe to say that his acting career has been mostly forgotten since Karate Kid 1.
Yeah. But he was really, really good in Cobra Kai.
He was excellent. I love the character. And really, this series, this 10-show series, it was really about Johnny Lawrence.
Yeah.
It was not about Daniel or Daniel's
Daniel
kids.
LaRusso was kind of a side character.
A little bit, yeah.
His character kind of reminded me of Bad Santa.
That's the first thing I thought of Johnny.
We're talking about Johnny.
Yeah.
Kind of washed up, kind of, the
just
last 20 years
doesn't give
really,
an F about anything.
Really been hard on him.
Yeah.
Kind of alcoholic.
Wakes up in bed and there's a bottle of vodka right next to him. He
just starts drinking.
He just starts drinking
last night's beer.
Yeah, whatever.
Whatever. Very rude and crass, kind of like Bad Santa.
They really fleshed out his character a lot in this show. It just every episode you got to know him more and more and more, and his character arc didn't really do what I thought it was going to do. You've got Daniel who came from a very poor had a very poor childhood.
Right.
Later in life, he owns a fancy car dealership and he has a huge house. And so Daniel went from rags to riches. His background was very much, single mom raising him. Mr. Miyagi comes into his life, who turns out to be an important father figure for him. And Daniel goes from rags to riches. Johnny Lawrence, on the other hand, very much came from money.
Grew up in Encino, in a nice house.
Yeah. Nice house, had everything, had the nice car, the nice clothes, the nice everything.
The nice motorbike.
But his stepdad was a dick. And as it turned out, how you are raised has a very big impact on how your life turns out.
Yeah.
And that's a very strong and true message that I don't think society gets enough of. Society just tells you, if you come from money, you're just going to be rich. That's how it is. All these people who are rich, well, that's because, President Trump, his dad gave him his first $1 million, so that's why he's rich. That's what everyone really wants to believe. And sometimes it's true. I like that message. You don't hear it enough in Hollywood.
All of the kid actors in this show.
They were great, weren't they?
In most shows, when they have a bunch of kid actors, and by kid I mean teenage, high school.
Yeah, they were all 12, 15 years old in the show, mostly.
Yeah. Most of the time it's just embarrassing, and you're just kind of cringing watching them trying to deliver this dialogue. In Cobra Kai, they were all really, really good. They were excellent. Every one of them. Miguel, who's kind of one of the main characters, he's the kid that... Johnny kind of takes under his wing to train. He's very good. They're all great. Hawk.
Hawk was great.
Yeah, Hawk was great.
I guess his name in the show is Eli, but everyone calls him Hawk because he has a mohawk.
Yeah.
Even Anthony LaRusso, who plays Daniel LaRusso's youngest child, I think he's great. He's kind of this just overweight kid that sits on the couch all the time and plays video games and whatever. But he has a lot of witty one-liners. Yeah. And he delivers them really well. Yeah. It's very funny. We talked about that one scene where he's just laying on the couch and he says, "Alexa, order a PlayStation Vita," and then Alexa orders the PlayStation Vita. He has a lot of funny dialogue. Samantha LaRusso, Daniel's daughter, obviously, she's really good.
She's great.
Yeah. And the lesson that Johnny learns in the show is he sees all these kids that he starts training at Cobra Kai, they're all great kids, really, for the most part. These are good kids that he's training.
Yeah.
Towards the end of the show, in the 9th and 10th episodes, these kids are all douchebags. Maybe not all of them. Most of them turn out to be dicks. And he stands there and he realizes what he's done to them. And you can see the pain in his eyes. And he's like, what have I done? Because Johnny has actually become a better person through all of this. Him and Daniel start to get a little bit closer, and then that kind of gets a little rocky. But Johnny becomes a better person because of everything that's happened. And then it gets to the final battle, whatever you want to call it, the tournament, the All Valley, right?
Right, the All Valley tournament.
And all of a sudden, Johnny's students are all doing horrible things, and he's trying to tell them not to, and they won't even listen to him.
He taught him the Cobra Kai
but it's
motto.
too late.
Strike first,
and
strike hard, no mercy.
And he realizes that. You can see it on his face. He's like, what have I done? I've just turned them into me. What my sensei did to me, he has now done to his students.
Yeah.
And he's looked at his life, and he's had a horrible life, nothing but alcohol and unemployment, and he is now turning his students into that. And he realizes that at the end of the show, but it's too late because the kids are they've already embraced what he's taught them. And as he's talking to Miguel in the last episode, he's trying to tell him to do this or not do that, and Miguel's like, no. He's like, I'm going to do what you taught me to do because we're Cobra Kai.
That's the Cobra Kai way.
That's the Cobra Kai way.
Yeah. I love all of the references to the original Karate Kid. There's a lot of scenes that just kind of cut back and show that footage. There's scenes that take place, like they went back to Daniel's original apartment, which I'm not 100% positive it's the exact same.
It probably is.
Set. It looked really, really similar. They either rebuilt this thing or they went back to the same exact filming location, which is pretty impressive. They went back to Mr. Miyagi's old house and his property there with all that, I don't know, Japanese garden stuff around there.
That could have been recreated.
That could have been
wouldn't
recreated.
be surprised if it was.
Yeah, because there's no way that someone's kept that all
Yeah,
these
exactly.
years. The rivalry between Daniel and Johnny is still there, but there's a new dynamic to it, and I love that they kept that there. Daniel was great. Ralph Macchio, he's a fine actor. I don't know why his career kind of fizzled away after Karate Kid, but he probably just got typecast and
I think that was kind of it. I mean, you're right. He's a fine actor. He's never going to win an award. But I think he was typecast a little bit, and he ended up being kind of a, this skinny Italian guy who, I don't know, if you think about the kind of roles that Hollywood wants, he just doesn't quite fit into anything. Yeah. I think that's kind of the problem. He
doesn't fit your, lead romantic male leading character. Yep. He doesn't really fit your action movie star.
Super nice guy. I met him one time a few years ago at a Comic-Con in Chicago, actually, and I chatted with him for a bit. He's just a super nice guy. He's exactly the kind of guy that you think he is. And I like how it ended. There's a lot of conflict going on. There's conflict between family because you've got Johnny's family is now fighting against Johnny's own students. And then you've got Daniel, who's training one of Johnny's family members. He doesn't even know it until the end. There's a lot of conflict going on. And then, like I said, Johnny is the one who finally, at the end, you can see it in his face. He's like, what have I done? He didn't really want to turn these kids into douchebags, but he kind of did. And then Johnny's old sensei walks in at the very end. I mean, who saw that?
Spoiler alert. Yeah. Kreese
walks in at the end. Same actor too, which is great. Just a lot of fun. Every time Johnny was in a scene, it was like, man, where has this actor been for the last 34 years?
Yeah,
he's just a pleasure to watch. He's not politically correct. There's a scene where someone is doing a little speech at the All Valley fight, and some student of somebody's, and all he wants to talk about is diversity and global warming, whatever.
World peace.
World peace. Johnny looks over at one of his students. He's like, dude, kick that bitch's ass. You can tell. That's just how Johnny is. He's not politically correct.
Yeah.
He's been, just lost in his own world
Think
of nothing.
Bad Santa. I mean, if you want to know what kind of character he is.
And for another video game reference, Johnny, he's really poor. He's trying to raise money. He walks into a pawn shop and he flops an old Atari machine on the counter and he says, what do you give me for this old Nintendo?
So even if you didn't grow up watching The Karate Kid obsessively like we did, this is still really good. I would recommend it to anybody. It's very funny. It's clever. Great script, great acting, great kid actors. I mean, I couldn't say anything bad about this show.
Yeah, it's like, where did this show come from? I mean, I have to imagine that it was probably Ralph Macchio. I don't know this for a fact, but I imagine he probably pitched it to Netflix first, and they probably shot him down. And then YouTube said, hey, we'll pick it up.
Yeah.
But, when we were watching that 10th episode, I didn't realize at the time, but it actually tells you how many viewers that this has had. Do you remember that number?
Yeah, it was like over 27 million.
Wow. That's incredible. I don't know the statistics off the top of my head, and I don't even know what the best rated shows on TV are right now, but let's assume it's NCIS and How I Met Your Big Bang Theory, or I don't know what the shows are.
I don't think they get 27 million
I'd be surprised
viewers a
if
week.
they had 15 or 20 a week.
I don't think they do.
And this series has only been on for a couple of weeks now on YouTube Red. You have to have a YouTube Red subscription, first of all, which not everybody does.
People are going to... It's worth the price just for this show.
It is, yeah. And there's going to be another season, so they've already announced that. It's coming. And YouTube Red, man, I mean, good for you. I mean, what's next? I'm looking forward to whatever else they're going to throw at us, honestly.
They're going to go back to the 80s. They're just going to dig
They're going to wax nostalgia.
They're going to dig out the Breakfast Club. And they're going to be like, hey, Bender and Andrew. And
obviously,
I think they're all
years
alive.
Old right
yeah.
now. Yeah, they're old. Ali Sheedy, I don't know. She doesn't look nearly as good as she used to. That could be a problem. Might be interesting. Look, if you would have told me that they were going to do a 10-part, a 10-show series on the Karate Kid in 2018, if you would have told me that a while ago, I would have probably been like, that's going to suck. I guarantee that's going to be horrible.
Yeah.
If you get the right people who are passionate about it and they want to write good characters, and that's what this show is all about. It's all about good characters. The story is what it is. There's a big fight at the end. I mean,
it's kind of predictable.
It's kind of predictable. I guess we won't spoil it. One of the kids wins the fight, obviously.
Sure.
It could have gone either way, and I don't think I would have even cared that much, honestly. It doesn't even matter at that point.
Yeah.
The characters were really fun to watch. So good for you, Ralph Macchio, and Google or YouTube or whoever put this thing on the air, and I can't wait for the next season.
Yeah, it was great. Loved it.